Coming up on DITV, we give you an update on the government shutdown.
And later, it's curtain up for the 10-Minute Play Festival here on campus.
We have everything you need to know about Hawkeye baseball this season.
And we get to reminisce about that Big Ten championship from last season.
Snow showers, cold temperatures, and cloudy skies. Find out more in weather.
All that and more coming right up on this Friday morning edition of DITV.
So don't go anywhere because DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in on this incredibly snowy morning. I'm Sydney Zatz.
And I'm Becca Scadden. We bring you the latest news from Washington. Thursday proved itself to be one of the most important days D.C. has seen in the new year. After disagreements on immigration, Congress had until midnight last night to come to a consensus on a budgeting bill. If not, that would mean that a second government shutdown would occur. At midnight, it was announced that the federal government was indeed in a shutdown. However, a mere 5 hours later, Congress signed a spending bill, effectively ending it. President Trump is expected to sign that bill into law later today.
On Wednesday, the British territory Bermuda became the first country to repeal same-sex marriage through what is being called the Domestic Partnership Act. A territory which legalized same-sex marriage back in May of last year now refers to it as domestic partnerships. While this gives the couples the same legal rights, it has been seen as controversial in many foreign countries. Despite this, the UK government has shown no signs of blocking the bill.
Hit the lights and curtains up. Iowa takes the stage as it debuts its annual 10-Minute Play Festival. Jahisha Thomas has more.
Across the river, the theatre building was able to showcase new talent, new performances, and new playwrights from the undergraduate students here at the 10-Minute Film Festival. Friends, family, and students were all able to gather and watch the new performances that were showcased by the undergraduates.
I was at a rehearsal last night and it's fantastic. The show is fully undergraduate, written, run, acted, and it's a great night of theater. The design is fantastic, the scripts are wonderful, the acting is great. It's really a great night of theater.
And my goodness, it seemed to be, as guests were pouring in to see this wonderful and marvelous show. But curious eye wanted to know how they made this lineup in the first place.
I'm the festival coordinator for 10-Minute Play Festival. So there were about 35 plays submitted total, and we chose, me and some grad students got together and we curated and chose 7 for full production and 4 for readings.
Make sure not to miss out on these phenomenal performances and keep updated with the latest upcoming shows and events that are happening on campus. Reporting from the theatre building, this is Jahisha Thomas with DITV News.
Well, Sid, you know, with the all the snow this morning, it was hard to get here. It's hard to walk around, drive, pretty much do anything. But I, for one, am hoping maybe I'm not going to have to go to my classes later.
Well, you know Iowa, they usually never cancel class. You really have to be an Olympic skier to get around in this weather. Let's toss over to John in the weather studio to see what this next weekend can bring. John?
Thanks, guys. Let me start this off with we had a ton of snow yesterday, and it may be in your best interest to stay in today because it is not letting up. This afternoon, you will see snow showers with a high temperature of 20 degrees. Tonight, we'll get down to 8 degrees, and yep, you guessed it, more snow. Let's take a look at our extended forecast to see if we will ever escape this snow. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a high of 15 degrees and a low of 6 degrees at night. On Sunday, you will see some sun, but you won't feel any warmth. Sunday's afternoon high will be in the mid-teens, and at night, the temperature will drop to a frigid -5. On Monday, expect mostly sunny skies with afternoon highs reaching the mid-teens and low temperatures at night dropping to around the 8-degree mark. Partly cloudy skies on Tuesday with temperatures reaching the mid-20s in the afternoon, and at night, low temperatures hovering around 5 degrees. Finally, on Wednesday, you may see some afternoon snow showers with temperatures in the upper 20s, and at night, lows in the upper teens. Well, it seems as though we will actually escape the snow until Wednesday. Also, be sure to bundle up this upcoming week. It is going to be cold. That's the weather for this week. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, John. The current flu season has given us one of the most difficult and deadly strains in recent memory. With deaths occurring across the country, immunizations are being pushed constantly. However, medical officials are saying that the current vaccine is only 10% effective, all because of the wrong gene being mutated during production. Stick with DITV as we investigate the issue further and keep an eye out for an in-depth report sometime next week.
Thursday saw the state Senate approving legislation that would cut nearly $15 million in funding from the border regions. The original filing was to cut $19 million. Senator Nate Bolton told the DI, quote, "The dollars we spend today in higher education immediately come back as economic development right now and help us educate that future workforce we want succeeding in our economy," end quote. This cut from the border regions may potentially affect the Iowa School for Deaf and Iowa Braille and Sight Saving School. For a more in-depth look at the potential cut, check out the front page of the Daily Iowan, where reporter Marissa Payne has more.
At 5 o'clock this morning, the 2018 Winter Olympics began with a jaw-dropping opening ceremony. Surprisingly enough, beginning with North Korean ruling family member Kim Yo-jong and South Korean President Moon Jae-in shake hands in a historic moment.
While everything ran smoothly for the ceremony, drama occurred late Thursday night with dozens of Russian athletes and coaches held an 11th hour appeal against the 2017 ban on the country and allow them to compete. The ban was upheld with several lone Russian athletes choosing to compete under the neutral Olympic flag.
Well, you know, Sydney, looking outside all the snow, it's hard to believe it, but Iowa baseball season is actually just around the corner.
That's right, Becca, and here with our first baseball preseason show is Mary Kate and Zach Mackey. Let's toss over to Sports Studio to get a little feel of spring weather as it is really snowy out. Mary Kate and Zach?
All right, thanks, guys. Well, yeah, it's officially the best time of the year. Baseball is back. I'm Mary Kate Harrian. With me is the voice of Iowa baseball, Zach Mackey. Are you ready for the long season?
I'm ready. It's right around the corner. This is the fun time of the year. Get things rolling along.
And you get to escape the cold weather here and go down south. Not very jealous about that.
Yeah, it's not a bad perk of it all.
Yeah.
You can't play baseball up here right now, so you got to go somewhere warm.
Well, let's start with last season. You can probably talk about it a little bit more than I can since you were there at that championship game, but what a great season, what a great game. So exciting for those guys. They were all talking about it yesterday at Media Day and big smiles on their face, and even Coach Heller, I'm just so incredibly happy for him.
Well, it was a weird feel because all those games were so close. They were back and forth, and then all of a sudden you get to a championship game, ended up winning by 10 runs. It was 14-4, somewhere around there. So you kind of knew going into those last couple of innings that, hey, we were in really good position to win a Big Ten championship, and it ended up coming through. It was a cool thing to be able to see by everyone, and you know, there's expectations that hopefully that's going to be the norm now.
Well, Robert Newstrom is back and is already bringing in the awards. Big Ten Preseason Player of the Year, perfect season, Big Ten Preseason Player of the Year. He was an all Big Ten selection last season. How important is he to this year's team, especially with the loss of Jake Adams?
Simply, he's huge. I mean, it's going to be a huge impact. What Robert's able to do with the plate, able to extend games, able to get you back into the game with one swing of the bat. But the real question that was asked at Media Day is what's going to happen to the front and behind him in the 3 and the 5 holes, because like Jake Adams had Robert Newstrom above him, he had Mason McCoy right there, so you had to pitch to him. You couldn't walk him. Well, Robert Newstrom right now doesn't really have anybody there. Someone's going to have to step up, or otherwise he's going to lead the Big Ten in walks.
Well, here is more on how Newstrom is handling the pressure of being the Hawkeyes' go-to guy.
I mean, if he's following the plan, I mean, he's not even worried about it. I mean, hopefully he's just, enjoying it and controlling what he can control, and that's his ability to go out and play best he can each and every day, and that's what he's hearing from us. And I think Robert will handle that just fine. I don't think it'll be an issue with Robert.
It's good seeing another Sioux City kid up there doing what he's going to be doing this year. It'll be nice, me and him back to back in the lineup, just playing like we did when we were younger. I think he's handling it really, really well. He very humble about it. I mean, you can go up and talk to him if you want to, but he's not going to bring it up to you.
You know, people are always saying that, you got to step up this year and fill that role a little more. But, if I keep doing me, I know the stats are going to fall, and if I keep having fun, everything's going to be all right.
Well, another guy that is back is Nick Allgaier, and such a special story from him. He had Tommy John surgery last year, rehabbed constantly to get back to where he wanted to be. He said 6 to 7 times a week. Now he was just named the Friday starter for Iowa baseball. I'm just so happy for him.
Well, now you're the guy. You're the Friday night guy. Go out there and you got to be able to perform. I'm sure it was difficult last season. He, like you said, had to rehab and couldn't play in those games. He had to watch when the team had a lot of success towards that end of the season especially. So now it's his time and his chance to be able to lead this group as a Friday starter, but still a lot to be proven because, again, he had a whole year off. So now he's going to be back here in his junior year, and he's going to get a shot as that number one guy to try to make a name for himself.
Well, here is more from Allgaier on his tough comeback.
That's just something you kind of always strive for. The day one you come in here as a Hawkeye, that's something, that's the highest standard you can get. That's what you want to work for, and to be named, it's awesome. It's a big privilege, and I gotta do my job and live up to it. Yeah, it's very exciting. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was away from competition, yeah, but I was doing work every day, 6-7 days a week with rehab and trying to get back. I just kind of saw it as a long rehab stint. I'm just ready to go, ready to get out there and compete.
Now, following Allgaier, Cole McDonald will start on the mound for the Hawkeyes on Saturdays while that Sunday spot is still open. But the pitching depth on this team is going to be so important this season, especially after losing Nick Gallagher and CJ Eldred. They bring back Nick Nelson, Kyle Shimp, Shane Ritter, Zach Daniels in that closing spot for them. Iowa pitchers have set strikeout records each of the last 2 seasons. The Hawkeyes struck out 470 batters in 61 games, averaging 7.7 strikeouts per game. Do you see something similar out of this year's group?
Well, Kyle Shimp's been a strike thrower all along, so I'd see strikeouts coming up here yet again. But you gotta believe too that the pitching depth, like you said, is going to be huge throughout this season. Last season, you were kind of holding your breath, especially in those tournament runs, because all of a sudden an injury here or a guy doesn't have a good outing, and you're in trouble with not a lot of depth. But there's a lot of depth this year, even with some of those guys leaving. And with that Taiwan trip we had at the beginning of August, some of those guys had huge outings. Cole McDonald threw a no-hitter.
Yep. If
we can see that same Cole McDonald, it'll be good things throughout the season.
Yeah, the thing Rick Heller talked about yesterday too is that their starters their bullpen's experienced, but their starters have never started a game yet. So, all right, I'm going to let you go first. Predictions, thoughts on this year's season?
Well, I think that any year Iowa fans are starting to see now that Iowa baseball is going to compete and be in that top half of the Big Ten. They're picked right now in some polls to finish third of the Big Ten, and that's a lot higher than what they were picked last year. They're picked in the top 35 teams in the country in a lot of polls as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Iowa's going to compete throughout. They've got a really tough Big Ten schedule, so if they want a chance for a Big Ten tournament, they're going to get or a Big Ten championship, they'll get their shot.
Yeah, and Heller talked about too how he expects his team to be that second half team and to come in strong towards the second half of the season. I'm predicting right here, right now, calling it. I'm going to put on the ring. I'm predicting a repeat. Big Ten champions. Again, I called it. You didn't. Probably right. That is it from us from the sports studio, though. I will be here throughout the season to bring you all of your Hawkeye baseball updates. Zach, on the other hand, will be a little busy with the team, but he'll throw in some guest appearances here and there. Thank God you're not gone forever. But you can also listen to Zach the entire season as well.
That's right. It's been so much fun being here on Fridays. We'll be back right before that home opener, back at the end of February on the 27th. We'll send it back over to you guys at the desk.
That's all we have for you on this Monday morning edition. But before we go, we do have our ICAC Animal of the Week. Her name is Zinnia. She's a little cat, so.
That's right, Sydney. And this week we're featuring Zinnia, a cat who is cute as can be with a queen-like personality. Zinnia is a perfect fit for almost any home. Zinnia came to the ICAC in August, and the beautiful tortoiseshell pattern feline is looking for a family that will let her be her. Zinnia is about 3 years old and still loves her time to play. Zinnia is already litter box trained.
And how lucky can you have a litter box trained cat? She is up for adoption through the ICAC. That's all we have for you on this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday.
If that is enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now.
From all of us here at DITV, I'm Becca Scadden.
And I'm Sydney Zatz. We'll see you next week, same place, same time.